today. We're into the second heat in round one of the women's 400 meters, and tomorrow we will be seeing Rhasidat Adeleke running for Ireland in the semi-finals, so she's been seeded to go through. That's Camille Laus of Belgium, Olympic finalist in the mixed relay. Janet Richard of Malta, and Iga Baumgart-Vitan, a world relay medalist and a finalist in Doha in 2019 of the World Championships. Very fine runner. Again, surprised to find her not seeded to go through, but it's all done on times that they've run this year, and predominantly in their ranking as a result of that. Amandine Brossier of France, 2019 bronze medal in the World Student Games. And this is Suzanne Wally of Austria, an Olympic and world semi-finalist. Teresa Petrilkova of the Czech Republic. And in the inside lane, Emilia Turasov, the Finnish indoor champion. And indoor or inside lanes are just not favored, obviously, for the tight bend that they have at 400 meters. They have to run that inside lane twice. So Baumgart-Vitan is probably the favorite here, and she's got a really good lane draw. Personal best of 51.02. Anything under 51 seconds is pretty much world class, and that's how close she is to world class. And that was from a few years ago, 51.33 this year. So this second women's heat of the 400 meters is going to be run in the knowledge from our perspective that Phil Healy, who finished 6th in the first heat, surprisingly, will not be progressing more than likely. So they're away, first time, and a very even break, but already Baumgart-Vitan is, by the looks of things, the slight leader coming off the first curve. Camille Laus is out in that scenario in lane 8 where you just don't know really what is happening behind, so she's gone out very, very hard, but the long stride of Iga Baumgart-Vitan is absolutely eating up the stagger on Camille Laus, and on her inside it's Amandine Brossier of France tracking Baumgart-Vitan into the home straight. Mangione too, but Brossier and Baumgart-Vitan, and just inside Baumgart-Vitan is Suzanne Wally of Austria trying to claim the third spot, but Baumgart-Vitan and also Amandine Brossier, and the victory is important for the lane that you get tomorrow. And Baumgart-Vitan made no mistake about that. Brossier was second, and to be confirmed, it is Suzanne Wally of Austria who will get the third automatic qualifying spot. And the clock stopped at 51.09, and that is savagely fast for a first round heat among unseeded athletes. And I think it's an indication that this brand newly laid tartan track is very fast. That's good news, I think, for Irish record chasing Israel Olatunde. And we see there indeed it's Baumgart-Vitan, Brossier and Valley have all qualified. And that just confirms, just to be 100% about this, that Phil Healy will not progress, although we knew pretty much from the time that she ran of over 53 seconds in the first heat that she wouldn't progress. But that's just absolute rubber-stamped confirmation of that very, very disappointing news. But Baumgart-Vitan looked like someone who may well be a finalist, even though she's not seeded. And all the way down the home straight, she was chased to within, well, certainly a negligible distance by Amandine Brossier of France. And it was a really, really competitive heat.
Yeah, Brossier is a quality ad. She's French national champion, and to be French national champion, you have to be half decent, and to get it to this far. Like the contrasting styles of the two athletes. But just to take up a point you made there, Greg, about it being a fast track, we've seen it, and we're also seeing it in the field event, in the high jump. High jumpers like actually hard tracks, because that's what they get the reaction off in the high jump. So, you know, there's a lot of evidence pointing towards us here on the first day of the track and field that this is a fast track.
And there's a difference between what so many athletes run on Mondo. Mondo is a different feeling track completely, and it's very, very like it's ubiquitous almost around the world. But tartan is what they used to put down in the 1970s, and obviously they've remodeled it, and it's come back with this very fast-looking track here in Munich.
And the men's decathlon continues, and Norway's Scott Ian there with another clearance for him. More points for him, of course. The decathlon, all about the points. The higher you go, the more points you get. And that was good clearance, good quality clearance by him.
Yeah, he's a quality jumper. You know, he stumbled on the previous height because you get an element of fatigue. But again, that brings him currently into the silver medal position. So it's a moving feast, a bit like the hot seat in the fastest qualifiers.
With the shot put final coming up later on, and you see Fanny Roos there, who'll be one of the fancy competitors, of course. Oriol Dungmo of Portugal, probably going into that final as the favourite.
We just got a shot there of Jorinde van Tinken, the European #1, and she's actually a better discus thrower than she is a shot putter. She's the longest discus throw in 3 years in Europe, which she managed last year. And this women's shot put final, one of 2 finals on tonight in the field. They absolutely love their field events, their technical events in Germany. It's a country which embraces all the disciplines of athletics.
And that's a good shot of the crowd there. I mean, this is a massive stadium, a capacity of 69,000, obviously not full on the first night of athletics, but huge crowds, particularly down around where the field events are happening. So it's great to see the crowds out in big numbers and making a lot of noise already on the first night. Scott on again. Flirted with the bar that time.
Yeah, and it's as long as the bar stays on and he gets off the mat, that is the crucial aspect of it. If the bar falls now, well, he's off the mat, it's okay, but that's why he has a wry look back over. He showed highest point, so maybe his takeoff was a little bit too close to the bar, but you have to respect these men after 4 events, and they started this morning at 9 a.m, so it's a long day.
Ruler, isn't it?
It's a real test of endurance. It may be a power event, but this is certainly a test of endurance.
Yeah, he's currently second behind Ehammer. I thought he cleared up there for a moment, but it wasn't to be for Ehammer that time.
And Ehammer is, you know, he's 5th in the European rankings this season. We have Kevin Mayer of France, who's not competing here, is the Olympic champion. I should say the Olympic silver medalist and the world champion from just a few weeks ago in Oregon. So there is a medal here for these athletes begging, because Kevin Mayer is so far ahead of everybody else in Europe that Marcel Wiebo, Yannick Oiglan of Estonia, and as we've seen, Simon Ehammer, they're only separated by something like 60 points.
Yeah.
And now when the winning total will be in the 8,000s, that's how tight this decathlon competition is. And tomorrow, around this time, this crowd will be hopping because they love the decathlon. They used to have world-class decathletes in Germany, of course, over the years. Sabine Braun and Jürgen Hinksen, going back 20, 30 years, would have been standard bearers of the decathlon and the heptathlon.
A groan from the crowd there as Novak doesn't get near to a clearance. So Ehammer still leading the way at the moment. As Greg was saying, those scores are as they go at the moment.
So we have Charlene Maudsley for Ireland going here in lane 6, as you can see there on track. So the hope is that she will run something like the race of her life. She may need the race of her life to get through, but she has serious quality, Charlene Maudsley, if she hits it on the nail. And with a 51.70 time last year, just shortly after she failed to make the mixed relay team for the Olympics, she emphasized, moving into the top 5 all-time of Irish 400-meter runners, that she has the capacity. And here she's going to be introduced to the crowd now. Charlene Maudsley from Newport and Tipperary, 200-meter runner as well, multiple Irish champion at 200 meters. And that is Alicia Schmidt of Germany, who's got 3 million Instagram followers, I'm told. She has a career outside of athletics.
3 million and one now, Greg.
Katia Acevedo of Portugal, who's the Portuguese champion. 7 years in a row she's Portuguese champion, so I think we can safely say she's the Portuguese #1. Sokna Lacoste of France, transferee from Senegal, is European Under-23 fourth placer last year. And in lane 1, Naomi van den Broek, the Belgian champion, an Olympic relay finalist from Tokyo. And I'd say she's a little unfortunate to be stuck in lane 1 with a personal best of 51.73.
Just briefly before, this is a sticky heat for Charlene, and it will require a race of her life. It's well within her capability, you know, but it is one of the more difficult heats.
She may need a personal best, but this track has turned out to be a personal best track. We saw that with Israel Olatunde earlier on, with a brilliant 100-meter win in his heat this morning in 10.19 seconds, 1/100th off the Irish record of Paul Hession, and we may well see that record go tomorrow in the semi-finals. But here we have Charlene Maudsley in lane 6, going for Ireland in the 400 metres. Phil Healy has exited the 400 metres, finishing 6th in heat 1. And away, first time. And a strong start, in fact a flying start by Charlene Maudsley. If she goes out with ambition, it may be a case of hoping that the last 50 metres holds hope for her, but she has to run with ambition, and Alicia Schmidt is right on her tail at this stage and closing down that stagger. But it's a very strong first 200, as you would expect from an athlete who converted from 200 metres at Charlene Maudsley to 400 metres a number of years ago, and she does have the speed pedigree. And coming into the last 120 metres, the stagger off the final bend, and this is where she needs to find something extra. In lane 3, it's the Portuguese, and it's Katia Azevedo with the strong lead, but it's not going to happen for Charlene Maudsley unless she fights back dramatically. She's run a strong race in 7th place. She may pick up 6th place. She will pick up 6th place, maybe. Oh, it's a very close race across the line for 5th or 6th or 7th, but that is unlikely to see her qualify. She did run the kind of heat that you expect and want to run in a major championship. She ran the first 100 quite ambitiously, got the 200 metres in position around the curve. As the stagger unfolded, it was clear that that pace over the first 300 metres was pretty hot. So Azevedo took it in 51.63, from Vaikule of Latvia in 52.26. Schmidt got home in 52.52, and behind Schmidt will be the hope of a non-automatic qualifier, but that hope is pretty much diminished and more than likely not going to be for Charlene Maudsley. Molinari indeed taking 4th place in 52.60, so with the time more than 52.60, Charlene Maudsley will not progress to the semi-finals tomorrow. It was Lacoste of France taking 5th and Maudsley, and you can see there 3/100ths of a second separating Maudsley from 4th place, and in fact around just over 1/10 of a second separating her from an automatic qualifying spot for the final. But 52.6 is not the time that she would have been looking for.
No, and that's the thing. She will be disappointed. In fairness to her, she put herself in a position with 100 metres to go to actually, you know, qualify. But unfortunately, it just didn't. She just didn't find that last, you know, 100 metres within her legs. But there's, you know, there's no doubt she'd be disappointed, but you know, she gave it all there. You can see her crossing the line. She gave it all.
Well, Sophie Becker pulled out of the 400-metre individual only at the weekend, so Charlene Maudsley would not have been expected to run here in the individual. She would have been expected to run in the relay, and we have a fantastic chance in the relay, and we have 4 athletes under 52 seconds, one under 51, and Rashida Adeleke. But not in the 400-metre individual are we going to see either Phil Healy or indeed Charlene Maudsley progress. And we'll be back fairly shortly as we just see the Yoselek